Well, रेडियो जिंदगी लिसनर्स, जी हाँ, यू नो दैट योर व्यूज मैटर, राइट? और इसीलिए तो हमेशा ट्यूसडे मॉर्निंग आप जुड़ जाते हैं विद नन अदर दैन शाह पेराली फॉर द शाह पेराली लॉ शो. जी हाँ, ही इज द फाउंडर, द प्रेसिडेंट एंड द मैनेजिंग अटॉर्नी ऑफ द शाह पेराली लॉ ग्रुप इन न्यूयॉर्क, कैलिफोर्निया, एंड इज अ मेंबर ऑफ द अमेरिकन इमिग्रेशन लॉयर्स एसोसिएशन, साथ ही साथ द स्टेट बार ऑफ कैलिफोर्निया. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि यू डेफिनेटली नीड समबडी बाय योर साइड हु इज वेरी लॉयल, हु इज वेरी पैशनेट एडवोकेट ऑफ ह्यूमन राइट्स, सिविल राइट्स, सोशल एक्शन एंड सोशल सर्विसेज. इसीलिए तो हमेशा हम यहाँ पे वही करते हैं जो हमेशा हमें करना चाहिए. वी ऑलवेज टेल यू दैट वेन एवर यू हैव एनी इमिग्रेशन प्रॉब्लम, ऑलवेज कॉन्टैक्ट शाह पेराली. जी हाँ, यू नो, इफ यू वांट टू फिक्स एन अपॉइंटमेंट विथ हिम, नंबर तो आपके पास होगा ही, फिर भी एक बार चेक कर लीजिए. इट इज 5107425887. Yes, of course, you can get a lot of information on PeraliLaw.com. Check the YouTube channel Attorney on Air because Shah posts amazing videos related to immigration issues in there. And then कभी भी अगर आपको लगे कि ये इमिग्रेशन के जो झमेले होते हैं उनमें आप थोड़ा बहुत अकेले पड़ गए एंड यू नीड समबडी बाय योर साइड हु इज वेरी नॉलेजेबल एंड हु कैन एक्चुअली एक्सटेंड द हेल्पिंग हैंड टू यू, देन यू नो दैट दिस इज द शो एंड दिस इज द पर्सन. यस, ऑफ कोर्स, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नन अदर दैन शाह पेराली. तो चलिए, वैलेंटाइंस डे के ये जो मुहूर्त है, इनमें सबसे पहले वेलकम करते हैं शाह को. हेलो शाह, वेलकम टू रेडियो जिंदगी.
Thank you, Harneet. Thank you for the nice welcome. I hope you can hear me well. And we're going to discuss, of course, about immigration and so many other social issues. And anything I'm going to tell you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. Anything on your side, Rani, so that we can proceed with the specific you wanted to discuss?
No, I just wanted to ask you, Shah, because today is Valentine's Day and, you know, I really care about people who love. तो फिर मैं सोच रही थी कि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि यू नो लाइक बोथ द कपल्स आर हियर एंड देन वन ऑफ देम प्रोबेबली लाइक यू नो दे हैड टू मूव बैक टू देयर कंट्री बिकॉज ऑफ द वीजा सिचुएशन. क्योंकि काफी सारे यहाँ पे फैमिलीज है जिनके जो दो पार्टनर्स होते हैं दोनों ही दे आर हैविंग लाइक देयर सेपरेट H1Bs. सो इन दैट केस हाउ लॉन्ग डज इट टेक टू रीयूनाइट देम बाय कन्वर्टिंग द H1 like expired H1 person to H4?
Well, this is a very common question we're getting now because this is happening on a daily basis. I'll say more than half of my consultation are based on people who are laid off. So, in case you are still in the United States and you are an H1 and you got laid off and your spouse is also an H1, within the 60-day grace period, you can change your status to H4. You can file the I-539 or you can contact us. We can handle it for you. And as long as the case is pending, you can continue staying here. Unfortunately, the case is taking almost 1 year to get approved, but you can stay here. Now, the question is, can you work? Probably not, because unless the H4 is approved, if you're eligible for H4 EAD, it can be filed also. But ultimately, without that, you won't be able to really work, but you will be able to stay. Now, if you're outside the United States, all you have to do is to make the appointment and go for the H4 stamping and come back, you come an H4. And if your spouse has an I-140, you're eligible to file for the EAD. Now, the problem that you're going to face is, of course, the situation that everybody is worried about is the timing to get an appointment in India. So that is something that is happening right now, and unfortunately that's another issue. Now there's another thing that happened also. I don't know if I discussed about that last week. I don't think it was there. There was a lawsuit on the delay of the H4 when it's filed with the H1. It used to be when they started the H4 EAD, when you filed for the H1 under premium, the H4 was also processed under premium, and they will give it to you fast, even the EAD, if the EAD was filed. So if it was taking 3 weeks, you will get it within 3 weeks. So when Trump came, I think we discussed about that last week. Now they changed that, but now with that lawsuit, the government has settled and promised when you file for your H-1B transfer or extension, and you're filing the H-4 and the H-4 EAD, they will process it simultaneously, kind of. That means within 3 weeks or so, you should get an answer. Now, this rule doesn't really apply to regular H4. We have to wait and see how they're going to treat that. So it's usually when you're doing an extension or a transfer. And some people have asked me for amendment. I think it will apply for amendment also, but I'm not sure yet because we have not tested it. Having said that, now for the other cases, unfortunately, we won't have this luxury. So don't count too much on that. And that's a situation really we are faced with really tough times, not only on the front of immigration, the economy, now more wars with all the things going on with the balloons, the UFOs, whatever you call it. It's things are going to get messy. 2023 is very messy, but having said that, don't lose hope because a lot of companies are still hiring. I'm still doing transfers for a lot of small companies, so take advantage of that. Maybe the pay is not great, but at least you will be able to stay and work. So remember, you're not going to get the same thing you used to get because things are not doing well. But take whatever you can and run with it, and make sure you take the right thing. And you can call us. We can do a personal assessment, 510-742-5887. I hope that answers your question, really.
Oh, yes, of course. On this occasion of Valentine's Day, I just want to say all, like to all the lovers out there, अगर आपको लगता है कि you are stuck in such a situation and you are thinking that, oh my God, अब क्या करेंगे, हमारे प्यारे जो होते हैं, वो हमारे साथ शायद नहीं रह पाएंगे, ये शायद जो word है ना, इसको फेक डालिए because you have this amazing attorney on air. जी हाँ, I'm definitely talking about Shah Peerally because you know that he's always there to help you out in your immigration need. तो अगर आप अभी के अभी कॉल करना चाहते हैं, yes of course you can do that as well. पर अगर आपको लगता है कि आप इत्मीनान से बैठ के एक पर्सनल अपॉइंटमेंट फिक्स करना चाहेंगे शाह के साथ, तो फिर नंबर टू कॉल इज 510-742-5887. तो चलिए शाह, रोमांस से थोड़ा सा हटके आते हैं एंड लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द इम्पोर्टेंट stuff right now because I know कि आपकी झोली में आज बहुत कुछ है, बहुत like you want to share a lot of things. So yes, please go ahead.
Well, since you're talking about romance, we're going to talk a little bit the other side of romance, so the dark side a little bit because that's
I know
coming up.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's all good, and then later it gets sour. Hopefully, it doesn't for most people, but for some people it does, and it does really get very, very dark, and that's where we have abuse cases, etc. One of the things that just was announced by USCIS, now petitions like VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, is going to be filed with the Nebraska Service Center instead of the Vermont. So if you're planning to file this, you need help, feel free to reach out, 510-742-5887. VAWA is Violence Against Women Act, and it can be used also for men. If you are in a situation that you have been abused mentally, physically, sexually, or a combination of all, you might be eligible for a VAWA if your spouse was either a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. I repeat that. The abuser has to have been a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. And also, you have to prove three things. Number one, your marriage was bona fide, which means you have to prove that your marriage was genuine. It was not entered just to get immigration. And that is a part where many people get in trouble because unfortunately, they don't have any proof with them. But they understand that there are ways we can deal with that if you're in a situation like that. The second part, which is also as important, is to prove the abuses, right? And that part is where someone might be mentally abused, right? Not abused physically, but mentally, being mistreated, being really roughed up, and then we can use that. But of course, physical abuse is pretty straightforward. If you have a police report, etc., it makes the case a lot stronger. Then the third part, you have to be of good moral character. You cannot be the abuser and then turn it on the other side when they were defending themselves, and then you call it an abuse. So you need to really work this out, because I've seen cases where people come to me, oh, he hit me or she hit me, and then when you find out, you did you threw the first punch, right? And that really kind of messed the case, although we can fight it, depending how much the other one responded. So, for example, let's say you just pushed someone and that person started hitting you with something, even he was or she was the aggressor, it doesn't really amount that you were the abusive one, right? So that's all the stuff that we assess when we are doing the case. And that's the three components we need to file a good VAWA case. Now, for those who are not married to U.S. citizens and who are married to H-1Bs, married to O-1 visas, or just here in the U.S. Unlawfully, and if you have been abused abused physically, and it has to be physical, abused physically, and then you have the police involved, and they have a case of domestic violence against your spouse, you might be eligible for the U visa. We do a lot of the U visa. The U visa is not limited, by the way, to domestic violence. It can be, for example, someone is at the gas station and there's a holdup and someone put a gun on your head, or someone tried to rob you and hit you with some kind of weapon, etc. It might qualify for the U visa. Like I said, the U visa doesn't require you be in status or anything, and you can still file it. And we have done many of them, actually. We have a very good name on that, and I think in my career I barely lost any of them. So it is a very important. It takes time, but at least when it's filed, it allows you to stay. And now with Biden rules, it even allows you to get a work permit. These are options that you might have, you might want to look into, because many people don't even know about this until when they talk to me, I ask them, then they tell me this is happening. So, like I said, you were talking about romance. There's another side of that, unfortunately. Since we had this announcement about where to file the 360, so I wanted to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Any question on your side, Vinny?
No, Shah, but I think this is something really pertinent in today's world, especially I know that pandemic ke dauran actually these cases have risen so much, a lot of people are there worried about that, especially during the lockdown. This violence has risen a lot. So, yes, agar aap soch rahe Radio Zindagi listeners that somebody who is suffering and who has all of these things that Shah was mentioning, they have a choice, because there is somebody who is ready to listen to their voice as well. So, yes, agar aapko lagta hai ki there is somebody who has any sort of immigration problem and you want to help them, because Valentine's Day is not about only thinking about yourself, your spouse, your partner. It's about extending the love. So, yes, please extend love, and then share the number for Shah Peerally. Number hai 510-742-5887. You're listening to Shah Peerally Law Show on Radio Zindagi. And Shah, yes, over to you.
Yes, indeed. And now, talking about family petitions, of course, we also handle family petitions. If you just got married and you want to change your status, or you married someone, you want to bring that person here, we'll be glad to help you. And many times cases get delayed because the paperwork is not filed properly, and it can cost them a lot. And luckily, we have done enough of them that our cases don't get rejected, and most of our cases also get approved. So this is now the good side of the day. And so I was talking about that because I wanted to talk about family petition a lot today. But of course, there are also employment-based petitions that are coming, H-1Bs, like Rini was mentioning earlier. We are dealing with the situation of layoffs. There's not a single day that I don't get one or two consultations on people who have been laid off, right? So I'm going to remind them of some of the options. If you are on an H-1B and you got laid off, you have 60 days to transfer the H-1B, okay? You have 60 days to transfer. That doesn't mean you wait the 60 days to find a job, because no lawyer will be able to process the case less than 10 days, because 7 days at least, because of the fact that the LCA, the labor condition application, takes around 7 days to get approved. And this is what kind of people get confused. They wait the last day, but once it's filed, it reaches there before the 60th day. You are safe. Your transfer is effective, and then the AC-21 Section 105B, if I'm not mistaken, you can start working right away. So now this is the best option. Let's say now you're not able to do that. You're not able to find a job within the 60 days. You can also, if you have an I-140 approved and a petition for alien employment base, you can also file for what we call a compelling circumstances EAD. A compelling circumstances EAD basically is you explain to the USCIS that your situation is so unique, not so unique, but your situation is so drastic that you need to stay here and work. So we can help you on those, by the way. We can help you on all, including the H-1B transfer, etc. But also on the compelling circumstances EAD, it will help you, because once we file it, it gives you a period of authorized stay, and then also when you get the work permit, you can work. The disadvantage is 1 year, and plus if you want to get back on H-1B after the 60 days grace period, you file your H-1B, you will have to step outside, come back in to get your H-1B activated. But that's the same thing if you didn't have the compelling circumstances. Now, if your spouse is on H1, like I was mentioning earlier, you can move to H4, and if he or she has an I-140 approved, you can take advantage to get also an EAD. By the way, a lot of people ask me, they just use the word EAD, they don't know what it means. It means Employment Authorization Document. It's a work permit, that's all. So we can file for those and help you on all the angles, including the H-1B, the H-4 change of status. And it has to be filed, the change of status, before the 60-day grace period, by the way. It has to reach USCIS before the 60 days. Now, of course, the compelling circumstances EAD has the same rule. You have to file it. It has to reach the USCIS before the 60 days. Now, if you pass the 60 days, you get a job. In order for you to get back on the H-1B, you still file the H-1B, but you file it as a consular processing, which means after it's approved, you're supposed to go to the U.S. Embassy, get a stamping, and then come back. It will activate the H-1B, etc. Now, the question a lot of people ask me, if they have a stamp on their passport, can they use the same stamp? They don't have to go to a U.S. Embassy. The answer is yes. The stamping on the passport, even though it carries the name of another company, you don't have to change it if you change company. I repeat that. You don't have to change that stamp on your passport. If it is valid, you can use it. So take advantage of that. If you have that, then you don't have that issue of when you have to step outside. All you have to do is to file your case H-1B, not as a change of status, but as a consular processing. And then all you have to do is take that stamping on your passport plus the approval notice. It will be a 797B instead of a 797A. You can just go to Mexico, for example, or Canada, come back, go in the morning, come back in the afternoon. It will activate the I-94. So that's an advantage of having the stamp on the passport. If you don't have the stamp on the passport, you will have to ultimately step outside, get an appointment, do the stamping, and then come back. So that's why it's very, very important you take options for you within the 60 days. Now, if you're not able to get a job, you want to, for example, to go back to school, before the 60 days, we can also do what we call a change of status to F1 if you get admission in a school with an I-20. Now, the other options people want also is to just get 2-3 months more to wrap up things. Then you can try a B1, B2 visa, which will allow you to get usually 3 months to 6 months. But remember, those are not solutions. They're mostly band-aids. So look at other options before you move. Now, of course, if you fear to go back to your home country based on political or religious or caste, etc., we can file for what we call an asylum. but make sure it's a genuine case, because a lot of people see on forums, people are filing them, they just jump on them. But if it's fake, it's not a bona fide case. It will come back and backfire on you. So be very, very careful on that. So these are the options that are available, and of course there are more options if you qualify in the EB1A, which we are doing a lot right now, national interest waivers, O1 visa, etc. So these are things that can be very, very it's helpful to make sure that you know how you get things done. How much time we have left?
We have around 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay. I was not checking the time, so I was not sure if we were done. So I think you mentioned that you have all those options if you are terminated in H-1B. Talk to a lawyer. You can talk to us for a consultation. Even if you have a company lawyer, you want a second opinion, you can call me 510-742-5887. The website to check is peerallylaw.com, peerallylaw.com. And you can check our YouTube channel, attorneyonair.com, or YouTube / handle attorneyonair, one word. Now, going back to the situation of H-1Bs, one thing is happening on March 1st. They're going to open the selection of the lottery. You have till March 17, midnight, I think. And midnight, I think, PST time, not PST, EST time. So which means it's 9 o'clock probably, 9 p.m. In California. So I recommend that you don't wait the last minute to file any of your stuff, because it will come back and hurt you later. And here we can help you. We can actually take care of all your case from the beginning to the end. Just call us 510-742-5887. Really, I don't know, I have 2 minutes, so I'll just go ahead and, because a lot of people call me and they don't know what exactly we practice on in our office. So I'll cover quickly I'll try to cover that in 1 minute. So what we cover is everything much immigration, and that includes changing a status, filing for people's visas, filing for their cases like H-1B, marriage petitions, parents petitions, sibling petitions, U visa, VAWA petitions, I-130 family petitions, I-485, H-1B, O-1, EB-1, and we file also religious visas, and of course we file pretty much everything in immigration. We will probably be able to help you. We're not doing that many deportation now, but still our office still have a department that handles few of the deportations we take. So I invite you, if you want to help in your case, to call us 510-742-5887. Check the website, peerallylaw.com, PEERALLYLAW.com. So now, recapping what we were talking about today, the rules have changed basically for filing the 360. It's no longer going to the Vermont Service Center, it's going to Nebraska. That's the announcement of the USCIS. And we were talking about VAWA, the ability for people to get a green card if they have been abused. And just as a footnote, remember VAWA applies for both men and women, all those Violence Against Women Act. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. This is Shah Peerally, your attorney in the Bay Area, dealing with immigration. And anything I told you today is my opinion. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. And we'll be back next week, same time. This is Attorney Shah Peerally. I will be signing off. Thank you.
All right. So yes, Radio Zindagi listeners, as you have heard that this is the Shah Peerally Law Show, and we bring it like every Tuesday at 10:30. So yes, if you have any question, pile them up for next week. But मैं तो कहती हूँ कि do not pile them up. Just give a call to Shah Peerally's office 510-742-5887. जरूर check करें peerallylaw.com. आज के लिए बस इतना ही. Thank you so much, Shah, for your time on air. ऑल राइट रेडियो जिंदगी लिसनर्स, तो फिर आपको पता ही है कि दिस इज द टाइम टू लव एंड स्प्रेड लव। तो फिर आज वैलेंटाइंस डे में ऑफ कोर्स जस्ट स्प्रेड मोर लव एंड बी रोमांटिक। यार बहुत ही अमेजिंग सा चीज है, राइट? फिलहाल तो चलिए, अगर आपको लगता है कि व्हाट आर द सॉन्ग्स दैट यू गोना बी लिसनिंग इन रेडियो जिंदगी, आई अश्योर दैट दे विल बी अमेजिंगली रोमांटिक। चलिए सुनते रहिए रेडियो जिंदगी 1550 से। खुश रहिए, फिट रहिए, घूमते फिरते रहिए, हमेशा की तरह खुद से भी कहते रहिए जिए जा।